Have you ever stopped in the middle of a busy day, grabbed a cold bottle of water from the store, twisted the cap, and taken that refreshing first sip without thinking twice about where it came from? Most of us do. But behind every single bottle of water you see on those neatly stacked supermarket shelves lies a fascinating story, a journey that begins long before you ever pick it up. Every year, more than 500 billion bottles of water are consumed around the world. Yes, you read that right, 500 billion. But how does a simple drop of water go from a natural source to a crystal clear, sealed bottle in your hand? The truth is, the process is far more complex than most people realize, and it's a blend of science, technology, and precision like you've never imagined. To really understand bottled water, we need to go back in time and see how this trend began. Today, bottled water feels like an everyday essential, but its story dates back centuries. The journey started as early as the 1600s when people relied on containers made of reeds and clay to store and transport water. There were no sleek plastic bottles or fancy labels back then, just simple vessels meant to keep water clean and drinkable. Fast forward to the 18th century and something revolutionary happened. The English started bottling water from natural mineral springs, marketing it for health benefits and selling it commercially. This was the beginning of bottled water as a product, not just a necessity. But the real game changer came in the 1780s when Johann Jacob Schwepp, a name you might recognize from the soda brand, introduced carbonation to water in Geneva, Switzerland. Suddenly, water wasn't just for hydration. It became a luxury item, a drink with fizz and flair. By the 19th century, bottled water gained even more popularity, not just for taste but for safety. You see, during that time, cities across Europe and America faced serious outbreaks of diseases like cholera and typhoid, often spread through contaminated water sources. People began to view bottled water as a safer alternative to public water supplies. And when chlorine was introduced in the 1890s as a water treatment method, it revolutionized public health, but it also made bottled water stand out as an even cleaner, purer choice. By the early 20th century, chlorine became the norm for disinfecting tap water, yet bottled water didn't lose its appeal. In fact, it became a symbol of quality and health, especially as cities grew rapidly and urban water systems struggled to keep up with demand. In 1941, the United States took a big step by establishing one of the first official standards for bottled water, ensuring safety and quality for consumers. But the biggest transformation in the industry came in 1973 with the invention of PET plastic bottles. Lightweight, durable, and easy to produce on a massive scale, PET bottles made bottled water accessible to everyone. No more heavy glass bottles or expensive packaging. This was the era of convenience. By the early 2000s, bottled water wasn't just a product. It was a lifestyle. Clever marketing campaigns positioned it as a safer, healthier alternative to tap water, convincing millions of people to make the switch. Brands told stories of pristine mountain springs and untouched natural sources, and people bought into the image of purity. As a result, bottled water consumption skyrocketed. But with that boom came a new problem: plastic waste. By 2011, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, publicly acknowledged that plastic pollution was becoming a major environmental crisis. Billions of bottles ended up in landfills and oceans every year. By 2016, the industry began promoting reusable and recyclable bottles, and companies started taking steps to reduce the weight of plastic used per bottle to minimize waste. Still, the environmental debate around bottled water continues today. Now that we've explored the history, let's dive into what happens behind the scenes in a modern bottled water facility. Because trust me, it's not just filling a bottle from a tap and slapping on a label. It's a highly controlled, technologically advanced process designed to ensure safety and purity. Everything starts with sourcing the water. Have you ever wondered where the water in your bottle really comes from? Is it actually from some remote mountain spring like the commercials show, or is it just treated tap water? The answer is, it depends. Some brands use natural spring water or draw from deep underground aquifers, while others use municipal tap water that goes through additional purification. But before any water enters the bottling plant, it must pass through strict quality tests. It's checked for mineral content, clarity, and microbiological safety. Any harmful microorganisms or impurities, they're out. The water must meet rigorous standards before moving forward, because consumer trust depends on one thing: purity. Once the water passes the first hurdle, it's time for filtration and purification, a process that ensures every sip you take is crystal clear and safe. This isn't just a single filter, it's a multi-step system. First, the water goes through mechanical filtration to remove any suspended particles like dust or tiny debris. Then comes demineralization, which eliminates unwanted substances and balances mineral content. And for disinfection, most plants use ultraviolet UV light or ozone treatment instead of chlorine. Why? Because these methods kill bacteria and viruses without leaving a chemical taste or residue, keeping the water fresh and clean. At this point, the water is ready for the most exciting stage, bottling. Modern bottling plants look like something out of a sci-fi movie: rows of automated machines, robotic arms, and conveyor belts moving with lightning speed. The bottles themselves start as small plastic preforms that are heated and blown into full-size bottles using high-pressure air. This process is called blow molding, and it allows manufacturers to produce thousands of bottles per hour. Once formed, these bottles are immediately rinsed with sterilized water or air to ensure they're spotless inside and out. Then comes the filling stage. The purified water flows into the bottles under hygienic conditions, with machines ensuring not a single drop is wasted. After filling, each bottle is sealed with a tamper-proof cap, labeled and date-stamped for traceability. Finally, bottles are packed into cases and sent out to distribution centers, ready to hit store shelves. Now let's pause for a quick reality check. After all these steps, source selection, purification, bottling, sealing, how safe is bottled water really? Here's a fun quiz for you. How much bacteria do you think this process can eliminate? Is it 50%, 99%, or 100%? The correct answer is 99%, sometimes even more. That's why bottled water has such a reputation for purity. But it's worth noting that bottled water isn't always safer than tap water, especially in countries like the United States where municipal water is heavily regulated. In fact, some bottled water brands are simply filtered tap water packaged for convenience. Have you ever twisted open a bottle of water and wondered what it went through before reaching your hands? Most of us grab bottled water without thinking twice about how much science, precision, and technology go into every drop. But the truth is that little bottle has taken an incredible journey, one that involves cutting-edge machines, sterile environments, and rigorous quality checks, all to ensure you get the purest, safest water possible. Today we're diving deep inside a modern water bottling plant to uncover secrets that will absolutely change the way you look at bottled water forever. From the moment the plastic bottles are created to the final sealing, labeling, and shipping process, you're about to witness a fascinating behind-the-scenes world that most people never get to see. The process starts long before the water even touches the bottle. Factories begin by producing the bottles themselves using polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, one of the most widely used food-grade plastics. To make these bottles, small preforms, tiny test tube-like pieces of plastic, are heated to a specific temperature and then placed inside high-pressure molds. Using a blast of compressed air, the plastic expands and takes the shape of the mold, forming those familiar lightweight, crystal-clear bottles that line store shelves. These bottles are designed not just for convenience but also to protect the water inside. They're engineered to be strong yet flexible, resistant to contamination, and capable of withstanding transportation across long distances without cracking or deforming. As these bottles roll off the molding line, they head for the next critical step: sterilization. Think about this for a moment. How do you make sure every single bottle is 100% clean and safe before adding the water? Advanced sterilization systems use a combination of high-pressure air, steam, and sometimes UV light to eliminate any microscopic contaminants. In many facilities, this process is fully automated, meaning no human hands ever touch the inside of the bottle from the time it's molded until it's sealed with pure water inside. That's one of the reasons bottled water is considered one of the safest packaged drinks on the planet. Meanwhile, the bottle caps are being manufactured just as carefully. Plastic pellets are melted down and injected into molds to create caps that fit perfectly, ensuring an airtight seal. Every cap is tested for strength and flexibility because one tiny defect could compromise the entire bottle. Once both bottles and caps are ready, they are fed into a synchronized production line where something truly magical happens. Water finally enters the picture. The filling stage is where speed meets precision in the most jaw-dropping way. In a sterile environment, powerful automated machines fill each bottle with purified water at lightning speed, up to 36,000 bottles per hour in some facilities. That's 10 bottles every single second. The machines are calibrated to fill each bottle to the exact milliliter, leaving no room for error. Immediately after filling, the caps are screwed on and sealed tight in a fraction of a second. This swift sealing process ensures that not a single drop of water is exposed to the outside environment. From the moment the bottle is filled to the moment it's capped, we're talking mere seconds, and all of it happens under strictly controlled, sanitary conditions. But the process doesn't stop there. Next comes the labeling stage, where each bottle is given its unique identity. Labels are printed with critical details like the production date, expiration date, and the source of the water, whether it's spring water, purified water, or mineral water. These labels aren't just for branding. They are your assurance that what you're drinking is authentic and traceable. Ever noticed those small batch codes on your bottle? Those codes allow companies to track every single bottle back to the exact time and location it was produced, adding an extra layer of accountability. Before any of these bottles make their way to your favorite grocery store or gas station, they go through a final quality control check. Technicians and high-tech machines inspect every batch for leaks, label alignment, fill levels, and seal integrity. If a bottle doesn't meet strict standards, it's immediately removed from the line. This attention to detail ensures that what ends up in your hands is nothing short of perfect. In fact, some factories run up to 100 automated checks on each bottle before it leaves the facility. It's this level of commitment that gives bottled water its reputation for safety and purity. After passing all inspections, the bottles are grouped, shrink-wrapped, and loaded onto pallets for shipping. From there, they are transported to distribution centers and retail outlets nationwide. Think about that next time you grab a bottle from the cooler. It's not just water, it's the result of a complex, highly efficient system designed to keep you hydrated anywhere, anytime. But while the production process is impressive, there's another side to the story that we can't ignore: the environmental impact of bottled water. Every year, millions of plastic bottles are produced, and unfortunately, not all of them end up in recycling bins. In fact, only about 9% of plastic waste worldwide gets recycled, according to global studies. The rest often ends up in landfills or worse, in our oceans. An estimated 8 million tons of plastic waste enters the oceans each year, much of it from single-use plastic items like water bottles. That's why the bottled water industry has been working hard to change the game. Many companies are now investing in sustainable packaging solutions. For instance, some brands have started using bottles made entirely from recycled plastic, reducing the need for new raw materials. Others are experimenting with plant-based plastics, which are designed to break down faster than traditional PET. On top of that, bottle deposit programs and large-scale recycling initiatives are gaining traction in many states, encouraging consumers to return empty bottles instead of tossing them away. There are even brands pushing refillable bottled water systems and biodegradable containers to help minimize plastic waste. But here's the truth: no matter how advanced recycling technology becomes, real change starts with us. As consumers, we have the power to make eco-friendly choices every single day. Choosing reusable bottles, supporting brands that prioritize sustainability, and always recycling when possible can make a massive difference for our planet. Next time you finish a bottle of water, think twice before throwing it in the trash. That simple act of recycling can help prevent plastic pollution and protect marine life for future generations. When you hold that bottle of water in your hand, remember the incredible journey it took, from raw plastic pellets to a perfectly sealed, crystal-clear container filled with pure water. It's a journey powered by innovation, precision, and a relentless focus on safety and quality. But it's also a journey that challenges us to think about how we consume and what we leave behind. So, the next time you take a refreshing sip from that bottle, take a moment to appreciate the technology that made it possible and the responsibility we share to protect our environment.